WWE reportedly already has big plans for WrestleMania 40 next year, including 2 top WWE icons possibly wrestling at the event. We've got details on that. Plus, is WWE looking to legalize gambling on their results, even though they're predetermined? Well, in certain states, they're actively trying to legalize it. We're going to talk about that. Plus, the latest on the WWE sale, with prospective parties reportedly meeting WWE later on next month as the takeover process continues. Bad Bunny will return to WWE at Backlash for the first WWE Premium Live event in Puerto Rico since 2005. We've got more details on that big event. Cody Rhodes has teased that Brandy Rhodes could be returning to WWE. Saray is leaving WWE reportedly, with an announcement scheduled for later on today. Who was the guy sitting alongside Liv Morgan at the New York Knicks game that went viral? We've got the identity of that person. Gable Stevenson nears a WWE in-ring debut, and an update on Roxanne Perez after she collapsed this past week during NXT Roadblock. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrest News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of World Wrestling Entertainment. We've got to start off talking about WrestleMania 40, not 39, which of course is in less than a month's time. We're talking about WrestleMania 40, which is a year away. And you'd be saying, well, Owen, why are we talking about an event that's over a year away? Well, because WWE reportedly already, specifically Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque, is openly working on plans to stack next year's big anniversary event. With the card for this year's WrestleMania 39 event seemingly now all locked in, it's nearly the time to begin looking ahead to next year's 40th edition of the big premiere show. The show is set to take place in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and WWE Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque already has plans to, quote, stack the event. Speaking with Give Me Sports, WrestleVotes has revealed that Triple H is going to stack next year's show, with it being the 40th anniversary of the event. They said, quote, next year they're going to pack and stack the hell out of that card because of the anniversary. It means something to Triple H. Specifically, WrestleVotes also noted that the door is open for 2 major names to work next year's event who rejected appearing at this year's WrestleMania 39 show at SoFi Stadium. Those names are Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who told WWE he wouldn't be fit to get in ring shape for a match with Roman Reigns in time for the show, and also WWE Hall of Famer Stone Cold Steve Austin, who rejected numerous pitches for this year's event, including matches with the likes of Brock Lesnar and undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns. Obviously, with the show being over a year away, a lot of plans can change between now and then, but focus on next year's event will begin once WrestleMania 39 is in the rear view. And to be honest, real talk of WrestleMania 40 will most likely begin after SummerSlam this year, unless they plant the seeds for anything at this year's WrestleMania event, which is a possibility. Look, John Cena versus The Rock at WrestleMania 28 was booked a year in advance. It was booked the night after WrestleMania 27 in Atlanta, Georgia, so certainly anything is possible. As far as will The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin be wrestling there, they have hopes every year for those talents to appear at the event and wrestle and compete. Whether or not they will, because it's WrestleMania 40, anything's possible, but for now, we'll have to wait and see. Oh, this is such a curious story, isn't it? Maybe not so much for over here in the UK because it's actively legalized, but when WWE entered into its partnership with DraftKings, the popular online betting site, gambling laws in the United States meant people that couldn't traditionally bet money on WWE events. Instead, the site offered free-to-play betting pools that would give winners a portion of preset amount of money. But now WWE is actively in talks with state gambling regulators to change that. CNBC is reporting that WWE officials are currently in talks with gaming regulators in Michigan and Colorado, hoping to reduce any worry about betting on predetermined pieces of entertainment. WWE doesn't exist in the same realm as other sports, with the possibility of planned results leaking to the general public, and has thus existed in a grey area when it comes to gambling. Even WWE's own betting partner, DraftKings, does not release betting odds for WWE programming due to the restrictions of some state gaming commissions. WWE has reportedly talked with gaming officials about locking in the results for its its premium live events months in advance. WWE is reportedly working with the accounting firm Ernst & Young, famous for helping tabulate and secure results for the Emmy Awards, to help convince regulators that it will be able to keep results secure from any parties outside the company, with even the wrestlers themselves not being told of the long cemented results until just hours before the show. Now, certain states allow betting on the Academy Awards, including Colorado and Michigan, which reportedly is why they're singling out those two states specifically. The news comes as WWE is trying to make itself enticing to possible buyers as company chairman Vince McMahon returned to the company earlier this year from his brief retirement to help facilitate a sale. Now, again, for the United States, that's a big story. When it comes to maybe us over here in the UK, it's not a big deal because for Sky Bet, they've been doing it for years. You can actively bet on WWE outcomes, mainly for premium live events, but they release the odds. You put real money on and you can win real money back. Obviously, gambling laws are different in every single country, so it certainly is a curious one, and it's like anything with World Wrestling Entertainment and I guess professional wrestling, is that it is that grey area. It's considered by some sports, but it's predetermined. But if you can bet on the Academy Awards, they're predetermined. Why can't you bet on that? Over here in the UK, they bet on all kind of things. They bet on, as I mentioned, WWE. They bet on soap operas. They bet on who's going to be the next Doctor Who, who's going to be the next James Bond, and all of the above. So it certainly is a curious one, and keep an eye out on that because I think certainly that's going to be a developing story over the next few months. What's the latest when it comes to the sale of WWE? Well, a new report has revealed that WWE is set to meet with potential buyers of the company in April. In July 2022, Vince McMahon stepped down as WWE chairman and CEO, with Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan appointed as co-CEOs of the company, while Paul Triple H Levesque took over as head of WWE's creative for the main roster. However, Vince McMahon made his dramatic return to the board of directors as executive chairman to facilitate a sale of the company in January of this year. According to CNBC, WWE is set to meet with potential buyers for the company next month in preparation for first-round bids, according to two people familiar with the matter. The report also notes that there's no assurance that a transaction will take place. However, that's kind of par for the course for any exploration of strategic alternatives. They put that in the end there because, again, they want to posture to get the most money possible. Now, it has been rumoured and reported that Vince McMahon is looking or has an asking price of $9 billion for WWE, something which has reportedly scared off potential bidders and has actually driven the stock price down after it surged amid initial sale discussion. Now, we kind of touched on this on a short that we posted here on the channel, but we are going to talk about it more in depth here. WWE has added yet another premium live event to its schedule that takes place outside the continental United States, this time just over a month after WrestleMania 39. The company has announced that WWE Backlash will emanate from the Coliseo de Puerto Rico Jose Miguel Agrelot in San Juan, Puerto Rico on May 6, with Grammy Award-winning recording artist Bad Bunny, who himself is a Puerto Rican, serving as the host of the show. Quote, in 2005, when I was a kid, I wasn't able to attend New Year's Revolution at El Coliseo, Bad Bunny said. Finally, 18 years later, WWE returns to the island with a massive event, and this time I won't miss it. Bad Bunny is no stranger, of course, to WWE, having performed at WrestleMania 37 in a tag team match with Damian Priest against The Miz and John Morrison. The rapper's performance won over fans in attendance as well as audiences watching at home, many of whom were previously used to lackluster celebrity performances but found themselves impressed with Bad Bunny's undeniable athleticism and talent. Backlash, which is apparently dropping the WrestleMania tag used for the last few years, is another in the line of premium live events outside of the United States in recent months and years, with Elimination Chamber in Canada last month, as well as King and Queen of the Ring and Money in the Bank, both taking place overseas in the months ahead. Just weeks ago, Priest, who is of Puerto Rican descent, teased that the company could return to the island nation, telling fans to stay tuned regarding the possibility of an upcoming premium live event. As pointed out by Bad Bunny, it's been nearly 20 years since the company hosted a pay-per-view or premium live event in Puerto Rico, a country known for a long and storied history with professional wrestling. No doubt it's going to be a can't-miss show. And certainly it's going to have a fantastic crowd and it's going to be absolutely buzzing. Now, Dave Meltzer has actually opened up a bit on this and explored the rationale behind the decision of running the show against strong competition from boxing and UFC during that weekend. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Meltzer stated, quote, WWE will be gigantic there. Every time they go there, they draw well. Pay-per-view is going to sell out instantly and a hot crowd, and it's Cinco de Mayo and it's in Puerto Rico. This all sounds like a Nick Khan thing because Cinco de Mayo, a big event, and the feeling that even though boxing is most likely going to run with the Canelo fight that night, UFC is going to run, and their mentality is the crossover is not as big as it used to be, so we can run. Meltzer would then explore the pay-per-view aspect of the show further, saying, quote, plus, we're not pay-per-view, it's free on Peacock, so even if people want to watch the UFC that night, they can maybe watch us later. Everything's changed because of the fact that it's Peacock. They would have never done these European shows earlier in the day because of the idea if it's a pay-per-view, it's got to be in that time slot or it's not going to sell because people are used to that time slot and buys go way down if we move out of that time slot. As I mentioned, things have now changed because they've already got the money from Peacock, so it doesn't even necessarily matter about pay-per-view buys whether they draw because, one, it's going to draw because Peacock has a lot of users, and two, they've already got NBC Universal's money when it comes to it. Now, Cody Rhodes has teased his wife Brandi could actually return to WWE. Cody Rhodes is on the verge of potentially ascending to the WWE mountaintop at WrestleMania 39 in Hollywood, yet rather unsurprisingly, he's had to do so without his wife Brandi Rhodes by his side on WWE TV. The lack of Brandi on WWE TV is surprising, largely due to how prominent she was during Cody's 6-year absence from the company, accompanying him during his time in New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor, and most notably AEW. Now, Cody has addressed his wife's on-screen status in the Out of Character podcast. In the interview, Cody conveys the importance of Brandi throughout his career, yet wouldn't reveal if and when we could expect to see her on WWE programming. Concerning a Brandi WWE return, Cody said, quote, never say never in the wrestling business. However, he wouldn't go into detail, saying, quote, I wouldn't rule it out, but she obviously loves watching what I'm doing. She's got some stuff that she's working on secretly, unrelated. Now, she has appeared in some sort of digital aspects, but as far as a TV character, that hasn't really happened. Now, Cody Rhodes himself is just a few pit stops away from completing his road to WrestleMania, and he's decided to commemorate one of these stops with some extra special ring gear. This week sees WWE return to the sacred ground of Madison Square Garden for a Road to WrestleMania Super Show on March 12th. At the show, Cody Rhodes will be taking on the Bloodline's undefeated enforcer Solo Sikoa. While Cody will undoubtedly have some special ring gear planned for WrestleMania, he's not skimping out on the MSG faithful, revealing on his Twitter some extra special MSG-inspired weight bouts. The video shows off 2 bouts, with Cody wearing one to the ring on Sunday and the other being autographed and sold on WWE Shop. Cody's appearance at MSG will be his first since returning to WWE at last year's WrestleMania, and knowing Cody's reverence for wrestling history, it's not surprising he's marking his MSG return in such a special fashion. Now, also, when it comes to Rhodes recently, he's picked up this storyline with Roman Reigns and the Bloodline, and he's reflected on his critically acclaimed segment that he had with Paul Heyman recently on Monday Night Raw. Referring to the February 6th episode of Raw, Paul Heyman praised Cody Rhodes and spoke about the segment itself, saying to Jimmy Traynor or SI Media, saying, quote, and that was everything you dream about as a performer, and Cody just set it up masterfully. He told his tale. He took this villainous performer, this person that is attached to the tribal chief, the special counsel, this wise man, this slimy, sleazy scumbag that's presented on television as Paul Heyman, and within 5 minutes of him speaking, you have the audience chanting, thank you, Paul, and you have the audience crying based on something I did on a personal level for his father 22 years ago. Of course, it was actually reported after the fact as well that Cody Rhodes and Paul Heyman actually produced their own segment, which was, again, goes to show how impressive it was as well, because they just sort of did their thing, and reportedly a lot of it was pretty unscripted too. This is quite an interesting story as well, because it appears that Saray's time with WWE is indeed coming to an end. According to Tokyo Sports, the 26-year-old is set to depart the Stanford-based promotion upon the expiration of her contract. It's said that the 2-time Women World Pro Wrestling Diana World Champion will make her in-ring comeback on May 16 at the Sarai-ism show at Shinku Face in Tokyo. The Japanese wrestler is reportedly scheduled to appear at a press conference next week to discuss the resumption of her pro wrestling career in her home country. Sarray made her in-ring debut at the age of 15 in April 2011. She would go on to compete in various promotions in Japan, including World Women Pro Wrestling Diana, Sendai Girls Wrestling, JWP Joshi Purusu, Pro Wrestling Wave, Seedling under the name Suri. Her performances eventually caught the eye of WWE, and she signed a contract with the organization in February 2020. However, her start date with the company was postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. 14 months later, Sarray joined the NXT roster and defeated Zoe Stark in her televised debut match. In January of last year, Sarray debuted a new character where she could change her appearance with the help of special powers from her grandmother's medallion. Yeah. The last time she performed inside of a WWE ring was then NXT Women's Champion Mandy Rose defeated her in a one-on-one encounter on the August 2nd, 2022 episode of NXT. Prior to that bout, Sarray participated in 2 tape matches for the now defunct NXT UK brand in London over here in the UK, but it looks like her time with WWE is over and she's going to be returning back to Japan. Now, obviously, Liv Morgan went viral on social media this week, and the identity of the person talking to Liv that she was maybe seemingly ignoring has been revealed. The clip has sparked reactions from Liv herself and various fans and other WWE stars on social media, and we now know the identity of the poor man who was ghosted by Liv. Per Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, the man in the clip is Justin Scalise, who works as WWE Senior Vice President of Live Events. Scalise was at the game to accompany Liv in the promotion of the upcoming live event at Madison Square Garden. Justin, I guess, indirectly did a very effective job, as the clip going viral helped a lot of people learn that WWE is heading to Madison Square Garden. From inside the company, there was plenty of lighthearted jokes made about the clip, but most agreed that it ended up working to the company's benefit, so I don't think they particularly care all that much. Now, when is Gable Stevenson set to make his in-ring debut? Well, reportedly, it's going to be pretty soon for WWE. Gable Stevenson won the Olympic gold medal at the 2020 Olympics that took place in Tokyo during 2021, signing a multi-year deal with the company that same year. A heart procedure halted plans for a debut at WrestleMania 38, with reports in October 2022 that he had started training at the Performance Center on a full-time basis. Stevenson has appeared on WWE television, helping Kurt Angle reenact his milk truck spot at the Kurt Angle birthday special on SmackDown. Speaking to MMA Fighting, Stevenson has now outlined his plans for the future, saying, quote, "I know the Olympics is next year and I hope to be a part of that and keep moving forward and keep winning big titles for the USA also. I would love a second run. I feel I have a lot more left in the tank to showcase. I want to prove USA right and keep moving forward overall and become one of the best American amateur wrestlers ever. And I hope I can achieve the Bruce Baumgartner status of having a bunch of medals and having the accolades to show and be part of the WWE and be an entertainer too." Appearing at the 2024 Olympics isn't a definite for Stevenson, though he hopes the company will allow him to take part in the Paris Olympic Games so that he can contest for a second gold medal. Stevenson would go on to discuss his WWE in-ring debut, stating that it is soon, adding quotes, "And when I mean really, really soon, probably after WrestleMania or just a bit after that. I think being able to understand that this game is different and its process, and I'm going to follow the process the right way and just keep moving forward." Stevenson would describe himself as the most physical, athletic, and dominant wrestler since probably Brock Lesnar. Now, Stevenson's brother currently performs as Damon Kemp on WWE NXT, but we could be seeing Stevenson's in-ring debut very, very soon if he is to be believed. Finally, we have an update on Roxanne Perez after the shocking conclusion to NXT this week. On NXT, we saw Roxanne Perez collapse, and WWE NXT has provided a medical update on the condition of NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez following her collapse during Tuesday's show. After being stretchered out and taken by an ambulance after her successful title defense against Meiko Satomura, Perez was being kept overnight in the hospital for observation and further tests. Her status is part of a kayfabe storyline with vignettes showing Perez enduring weeks of exhaustive workouts in preparation for the Satomura bout that appears to have caught up with her. Perez and Satomura have shown mutual respect for each other, despite both wanting the same thing, that being the NXT Women's Championship. The two women shook hands prior to their bout on Tuesday, and Satomura handed Perez her title after she won, retaining it. Satomura then waved over medical assistants to come to the 21-year-old champion after Perez went down in the ring. The Japanese legend looked on with concern as the scene developed. Shawn Michaels has also sent his well wishes to the champion, tweeting, quotes, "What happened last night showed that Roxanne Perez is a fighting champion. She left it all in the ring. I want to wish Roxanne a speedy recovery after a great title defense." He was there ringside as Perez was being carried out, of course. The Texas native won the NXT Women's Championship last December, defeating the since-departed Mandy Rose. In the process, she became the youngest NXT Women's Champion in the developmental brand's history. Furthermore, as a result of her blossoming popularity, she was given an opportunity to compete in the Women's Royal Rumble this year as an unannounced entrant. So there you go, guys. It's the latest WWE news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Remember, you can join the WN365 roster by clicking that join button. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.